This is Dan from LearningCameras.com, and we're going to be taking a look at a preview of the Canon 70D. Now, this is a long time coming. Nikon has really been ahead of the game with their Nikon D7100 inside of this category, and the only thing really to compete with it that Canon has, the 60D has been heavily discounted. It's really not in the range of what the D7100 offers. Canon does have the 7D still lying around, and we'll take a look at how this compares to the 70D. But now we finally have a brand new camera from Canon, and we'll see what they offer in this. So basically, Canon has introduced a brand new sensor in this. It's still an APS-C sensor. It's going to be upgraded to 20 megapixels from the 18 megapixels. It's a dual pixel Cmos sensor. So what that means is that on every pixel, Canon has split it into two parts, and they're able to do a phase detection autofocus on each of those. So what that's going to mean is we're going to have very nice autofocus in live view and in movie mode. So that's something new to Canon. Really and truly, Canon's autofocus has really been pretty poor in most of their cameras, and cameras like the 7D actually don't have any kind of autofocus. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the 70D has to offer. Now, we will definitely be reviewing this camera as soon as it comes out. I did have the 60D for a long time, like that camera, upgraded to the 7D, been very happy with the 7D, and we'll have to get the 70D in and compare that to the 7D and maybe some of the Nikon images as well, just to see how that really compares. So go ahead and subscribe, and you'll be alerted that when that video comes out for the full review of the 7D when it comes out, either in late August or early September is what we're thinking on that. And we'll definitely have that camera and do a full review on that. But let's take a look at some of the specs that we're going to see from that new camera. Now, Canon claims that they've increased their ISO, their high ISO ability. So they're claiming 12,800 ISO looks good on this camera. Much better at 6,400, they say. So Canon is claiming that we should get just about a stop of low light improvement. Now, sometimes that really just means JPEG because they have a better processor and better techniques to be able to process the high ISO images. But maybe we're going to see that in RAW. So we'll have to see exactly how that translates into our RAW images. So also, this is a 20 megapixel sensor, and I'm really happy that Canon chose to go with 20 and didn't really try to win the megapixel war. Nikon has the 24 megapixel, and more sounds better, but obviously that does hit to low light performance, it does hit to speed, and Nikon has taken a beating a little bit with speed in the D7100 and the slow buffer on that. So Canon is going to be doing a little bit better, 20 megapixels, plenty on the side of the megapixels. So we'll have to see how that goes. Now, the new autofocus system is really the bread and butter of this new camera. This is what Canon is really pushing on that. It is able to autofocus in phase detection up to f11 using 80% of the frame. So almost every pixel in this, 80% of the pixels on this are able to be used for autofocus in live view. Definitely huge from Canon. Looking forward to really testing it and seeing what that can do for video. The other big thing that we're going to see from that is a new autofocus system. Basically, Canon is borrowing the autofocus system from the 7D. It is a 19-point cross type with a dual cross type in the center. It's very similar to what we're seeing on the 7D. We might have a few less options than what we've seen on the 7D, but overall it looks to be a very nice AF system. I'm glad Canon chose to do this. They took some heat for the 6D. I didn't like that they put a 9-point AF system on that, and it was really weak when I tested it. I mean, it was good in low light and the points worked well, but 9 points on a full frame camera really does not cover even a portion of the frame. So 19 on an APS-C camera should give us a little bit better on that. Also, the screen is brand new. It does increase to 1,000,000 pixels. It is going to be an articulating screen, so it will flip out and move around for you. That's really similar to what we've seen on the past 60D. It's not the 3.2 inch that we've seen on some of the newer cameras, so you are stuck at 3 inches on that. Some of the newer features as well is they're going to have built-in Wi-Fi. Now, this is something we saw on the 6D. They also had GPS in the 6D. We're missing that on the 70D, but I'm not afraid of that at all. I really didn't use the GPS at all. I'm very happy to see Wi-Fi, though. I use that all the time when I do have that available, and when I don't, I try to put in an iFi card into maybe a second card slot, so I do have that Wi-Fi ability. Love having that. Also, the 7D is a lot faster. We got 7 frames a second shooting with a buffer of 16 images at that speed. That's way better than what we're seeing on Nikon, which only lasted 6 images at 6 frames a second. You're going to notice that if you're shooting any kind of sports, the minute you try to burst mode on that, it's going to be much better. Viewfinder coverage also increased 98%. That's nice. It's more than enough for anything on that one. So the camera is still mostly plastic, but it's been outfitted with some seals, some weather sealing, just some basic weather sealing. So you're going to get really good results. The initial previews have been that it's a very sturdy camera. You know, it's not going to be a magnesium alloy build such as this, but you're going to get very steady recording. So you're going to have a microphone input, manual audio controls, which is nice, very a video-centric camera. Same video modes though, 1080p at 30 frames a second or 720p at 60 frames a second. Now we do have a new compression mode similar to what we've seen on the 5D. That's going to allow for a lower compression version, which should give us a little bit better results on the quality, although it's going to use up a lot more space on that. You now have auto exposure bracketing for the HDR enthusiasts to 7 frames, which is very nice. That's what we've seen on cameras like the 5D, gone from the 3 frames that we've seen on cameras like the 7D. So really the only major downside I see on this camera is that it only has 1 SD card slot. I really wish they'd gone with 2. I love having backups of all of my images. Really a feature that I highly recommend having, and I'm really sad to see it go. Having Wi-Fi built in the camera will help ease that a little bit, as you don't need a second card slot to put in an iFi card, for example, but I really wish they had that. That's the only really downside to that. Now, a comparison to the 7D, you're going to lose basically this jog dial that they do have, and everything's going to be integrated into this wheel, similar to what we've seen on the 60D in the past. It's going to look really similar on the outside. And most of the changes are going to be internal. So, you know, overall, I'm excited about this camera. It looks very nice. I'm happy to see Canon finally improving some of the sensors and some of the results, and really looking like they're moving into a new segment and pushing the bar on their AF technology, especially because they've fallen behind on that. So we'll see what they can do. Once again, subscribe, and we'll have this camera coming in as soon as it comes out. Now, the price is going to be $11.99 for the body only. That's pretty good. So it's right in line with the Canon D7100, and then you're going to have the kit lenses available. So head to learningcameras.com and you'll see the pre-order links. We appreciate you using these links, as it kind of keeps the site floating. And so use those links, pre-order the camera if you want, or wait till the review, and we'll definitely have all of the stuff on this camera as soon as it comes out.